Tonight, new first-degree murder charges tied to a Saskatoon homicide as the victim's mother speaks out. How the village of St. Louis rallied to save a historic landmark. And a new art exhibit is helping Vanier Beach residents turn grief into hope.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It's Monday, November 24th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexander Silberman. We begin tonight with new charges tied to a shocking Saskatoon homicide. 8 people are now accused of killing Tim Tatusis last year, and his mother came to the city Monday to see one of them in court. As Dan Zakreski shows us, it's alleged Tatusis' cousin lured him to his death. And a warning, some of the details in this story are disturbing.
Timothy has no voice. He's in a better place. He's in the spirit world. And although I won't really have a say or anything, but it was just important for me to be here.
Tim Tatusis may be in the spirit world, but his accused killers are still here. And Tim's mom wants them to know she's here too. Priscilla Tatusis Iron has a message. Her son's killers will answer for what happened in court and to a higher power.
There's a very sacred, powerful law, and that is the moment that my son took his last breath, you made that choice. You and your family, for generations, will suffer the repercussions of the natural law. They have to pay for that killing.
Police found Tim Tatusis' remains in this house a week before Christmas of 2024. His mother says he'd been lured there, tortured, murdered, and dismembered. Last week, his cousin Nikita Tatusis was charged with manslaughter.
To see it come out, and having to tell my sons that the cousin, all the Tatusises are related. I know my family tree. I'm not going to get into that, but this is Nikita Tatusis grew up with my sons on the reserve. We all lived in Powmaker. Her and her siblings, my sons, all went to the same school. I taught in that school. Even back home, talking to other people and other relatives, they're just blown away.
8 people are now accused of killing Tim Tatusis. 7 are charged with first-degree murder. 1 is charged with manslaughter. Other charges include unlawful confinement and offering an indignity to human remains. Now, his mom says the basic allegation is that he was lured to the house by his cousin Nikita Tatusis and killed. Priscilla says her son's accused killers should get used to seeing her in court.
As ugly as a death it was, and my baby suffered, he's not suffering anymore. You can't hurt him anymore. Nobody can hurt him anymore. And I'll be damned if I'm going to curl up in a little ball. And I will persevere.
Tatusis is back on the road today after brief appearances by Nikita Tatusis and Destiny Gardapi. She'll be back in town again later this week as other accused appear. Dan Zakreski, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Dillon Whitehawk has filed an appeal with the Supreme Court in an attempt to overturn his conviction in a gang-related murder 5 years ago. Whitehawk was found guilty of second-degree murder in the death of 29-year-old Keisha Bitternose in January 2020. Bitternose's body was found inside a Regina home known as a gang hideout. Whitehawk was sentenced to life in prison in connection with the death. His lawyer confirmed the appeal to Canada's top court Monday. It comes after 2 of 3 Saskatchewan appeal judges rejected Whitehawk's argument. He claimed the judge did not have sufficient evidence.
We still think we're right. We think Justice Drennan is right, and you should give him a new trial for that reason. We hope the Supreme Court agrees with the arguments that we made to the Court of Appeal that were accepted by the dissent in Justice Drennan, and we hope the Supreme Court overturns Mr. Whitehawk's conviction and grants him a new trial on the case.
Whitehawk has 8 weeks to file written materials to the Supreme Court. His lawyer expects a hearing will be scheduled in the spring. The Saskatchewan NDP has introduced a long-promised bill to create rent control. The proposal would tie the maximum rent increase to the Consumer Price Index, a tool commonly used to measure inflation. The official opposition says it's a necessary measure because some residents have seen rent hikes of up to 30%. The provincial government will likely vote down the bill, but the NDP says it's a topic worth raising, even if it doesn't succeed.
Well, again, I want to have a look at it, but again, just as a matter of course, you can look at academic studies across the country, across North America. It dries up investment. We're not likely to support rent control.
The point is to raise the voices of the 300,000 renters that we have in this province and the concerns that they have. I know that the Sask party has been very dismissive of those concerns. We are not.
The official opposition spent much of the summer advocating for rent control, but the government argues the measure would slow down investment in building new homes, which it says is the best way to make housing more affordable. Cancer patients traveling to Regina for treatment will now have access to an upgraded place to stay. The Saskatchewan Cancer Agency completed renovations at the Regina Cancer Patient Lodge. It offers low-cost lodging for out-of-town patients. The entire second floor has been upgraded. The lodge's 18 rooms now have new beds, flooring, TVs, and walk-in showers. The renovations have also increased the lodge's capacity from 28 to 32.
It's very good. It's like really cost saving, like it's cheap to stay here and you have all the friendly staff around and like it couldn't be any better.
The elevator, roof, heating, and cooling systems were also upgraded. The entire project cost about $3 million. The Canadian Western Agribition is back in Regina, and Monday morning it kicked off with the burning of the brand. That is Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan, Bernadette McIntyre, doing the honors. Now in its 54th year, Agribition is a celebration of everything agriculture, from livestock to the latest farming equipment. The trade show also provides opportunities in both education and the economy.
We want to make sure that we can educate people in agriculture. You know, food just doesn't just show up on shelves. We want to show that it's sustainable, that it's safe, that the animals are well cared for. But it's also business. We do a lot of traveling international. You know, this is our exhibitors' livelihoods in those barns. So we want to make sure that we're bringing buyers from not just Canada but internationally as well to buy, whether that's live animals or genetics, you know, to support their outfits as well.
This year's Agribition is expected to bring in more than $120 million in economic activity across the province. In addition to livestock sales, the event includes rodeos, vendors, bisons on display, an Indigenous Agriculture Summit, and a party on the dirt. It runs until this weekend at the Brand Centre. A community near Prince Albert is celebrating after saving a historic landmark. Helena Mahalik now with how the village of St. Louis rallied to restore an old bridge with a big legacy.
We were all raised with this bridge in our mind.
The historic St. Louis Bridge has been given a second chance at life. It was closed in 2014, but now it's been reopened as a walking path.
It was felt at the time that it would be, you know, too bad to lose a unique piece of history. And of course, the bridge goes over the South Saskatchewan River. And the South Saskatchewan River, as we all know, is a historical route.
The railway bridge opened in 1914. It was crucial for fur traders as the only way to travel north toward Prince Albert. It was later modified to carry vehicles. But in 2014, it closed over concerns it wasn't structurally sound enough to carry that weight. A second bridge was built east of St. Louis, but the community decided to raise money to transform the original bridge.
They're often treated like a member of the community, that people love them and have an emotional attachment to them. And they also have these, you know, they can have really major economic benefits for communities as well.
The community applied for grants and held bingo nights and fall suppers. It raised $180,000. Organizers installed safety features like these gates and hired artists to add a creative flair to the old site.
it's a step in the right direction to maintain the community and to create a sense of interconnectedness between, you know, the French-speaking and the Métis people and the First Nations people, and because St. Louis is a mix now of all kinds of cultures and communities.
The bridge is now adorned with signs outlining the village's history for people to read while walking the path. Local residents hope that by doing this, school groups and tourists can learn something new about St. Louis. The walking bridge is now open to the public, and the village hopes to have an official launch party with a band playing on the bridge next summer. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, St. Louis.
Well, it was gray and cloudy in the Queen City, but the mild weather made it a pretty nice day to get outside. We'll have your full forecast when we come back after the break. Stay with us. The U of S Huskies came up short in the Vanier Cup over the weekend at Mosaic Stadium in Regina. The Huskies fell 30-16 to the Montreal Carabins. Scott Larson breaks down the bittersweet ending to the season.
After that 12-yard gain, they'll hand off to Frank, crushing off tackle, touchdown, Saskatchewan!
The Huskies came into the game having overcome a lot of adversity this year, including losing starting quarterback Anton Amendrud, who was undergoing cancer treatment. But they were unable to overcome a physical Montreal team that had some big plays to win their second Vanier Cup in 3 years.
Yeah, man, they just made more plays than us in the end, and it's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. And you know, happy for them, but man, so proud of our guys. We fought, we didn't quit, we just kept playing. Yeah, just came up short today.
Rookie Montreal quarterback Pepe Gonzalez was named the MVP. Gonzalez threw for 3 touchdowns.
The run was working. I think that's what helped us in the second half to make explosive plays afterwards. And yeah, we missed a couple of shots in the first half. In the second half, we had the same look and we took it and we got it. So that's what made the difference.
Huskies' fifth-year linebacker Seth Hundeby and quarterback Jake Farrell say despite losing their last game, this season was one to remember.
Winning a ring would be really cool, but I'm not going to get to play with a lot of these guys, man. We had a lot of fun. We love each other, but I'm really grateful for how many games I got to play with this group. Man, I wouldn't change anything for the world, man. I love these boys. I'm super happy that we fought to the bitter end. Man, yeah, it's tough. Sun's going to come up tomorrow, but yeah, it's a tough one.
You know, this whole season has been, you know, a lot of adversity for us. You know, we've battled through a lot. You know, so being down really isn't something new to us. You know, we try to, you know, trust each other, lean on each other, and yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, we didn't score enough points.
Running back Riker Frank is from Regina. He was able to play his last game as a Husky in front of his family and friends at Mosaic Stadium.
Every football team, every year, they say, you know, we're a special group. Believe me or not, but this is a more special group than those groups.
Frank says there were ups and downs this season, but he's moving forward, and he credits his teammates and their love for each other for getting the Huskies this far. Scott Larson, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Parts of Alberta and pockets of southeast Saskatchewan are experiencing their first significant snowfall. In Calgary, the airport was temporarily closed due to heavy snow. Flights have resumed, but officials say there will likely still be some delays. The city was expecting between 10 and 20 centimeters. Slippery roads made commuting difficult, and transit officials say dozens of buses got stuck. And weather specialist Mickey Wolf is here with a look at the forecast. Mickey, I have to say it's looking a lot greener out here in most of Saskatchewan than what we just saw in Calgary.
It's definitely looking quite a bit greener, Alexander, but we are going to see a little bit of snow overnight tonight and a lot of snow if you're in the southwest corner of the province. Let's take a look at the snowfall warning we have tonight for Maple Creek and Val Marie. They're expecting 15 to 20 centimeters total today. So quite a bit coming in from Alberta. Taking a look at the skies tonight, we're seeing that system moving through that south part of the province, bringing some snow in, and specifically specifically those heavier amounts we just saw. Daytime highs right now are starting to look a bit more normal for this time of year. We're seeing things really cooling down across the province today. And looking ahead a little bit, we will see that snow start to move out. Definitely tonight we're going to see it touch a little bit of that southeast corner before it moves out of the province tomorrow. Then we're going to see a high pressure system coming in, stabilizing the temperatures a little bit over the next few days, and then bringing in some cloud following just on Thursday. So let's zoom in at some of that snowfall. We're going to see up to 5 centimeters in Weyburn, 7 centimeters in Estevan. This model showing some lower numbers, but we will again see potentially some higher numbers of total snowfall accumulation tonight in the southwest. And then in the north, we're going to see a little bit of snow over the next few days, just in that 1 to 2 centimeter range. And tonight, I wanted to highlight some reduced visibility across the south as well. So just really watch out if you're on the roads tonight, because we will see some really reduced visibility, especially in that southeast corner of the province. Taking a look ahead to the next few days, in Regina, we will see those temperatures drop off as we get into the weekend. We're going to have a bit of a warmer midweek right now. We're looking at -7, -8, and then those overnight temperatures, we're seeing those around the normal temperatures for this time of year, so that -14, -15 range. Not expecting too much snow as we get into the week. And then for Saskatoon as well, we're going to see sunnier skies into Thursday, and then by Saturday, Sunday, we are going to see things definitely drop temperature-wise. We're looking at -15 for the daytime high on Sunday. Now there's chances of snow so far scattered throughout Friday, Sunday, and Monday. We might see those chances improve as we get into the week, so I'm going to keep my eye on those. But Alexander, it is still looking relatively green across the province for most of the week.
Looks like a bit of a winter wake-up call, though, ahead of us this coming weekend. But I'm sure a lot of folks will take cold over snow.
I will. I would definitely take cold over snow.
Thanks, Mickey.
Thank you.
Well, residents of Vanier Beach are still coping with devastating loss after summer wildfires destroyed more than 200 homes. As people pick up the pieces, some of their charred belongings are going up on display at a local art gallery. Rosanna Hempel shows us how the project is turning grief into hope.
Jan Modler bought this Birch Lake property in 1974. Over the next 50 years, her family built out the log cabin here into a gathering space. In early June, the wildfire that devastated nearby Vanier Beach, Saskatchewan, ravaged her house too.
We felt pretty devastated, especially, my daughter and our granddaughter. And they were really, really upset.
They came back to debris. The house, a pile of rubble. Only a few things survived. The dock, the fire pit, until they looked a little closer.
And we kind of picked out little things that we could see in the rubble. It surprised us. After a few days, it was like, this is just really interesting. Like, it's fascinating what this fire did.
Some things they'd collected over the years had been transformed.
It changed from green to white.
Now a selection of those salvaged things are on display this month at the Northern Visual Arts Centre in Flin Flon. Pottery and sculptures changed color or melted together. Others had a message that met the moment.
And we found it in the rubble. And I thought, well, that's another nice little message.
She says the exhibit is helping her grieve and process what happened. She hopes it helps others do the same.
And we found it like that. It was just broken in half. That kind of said how a lot of people were feeling. The things that we found are really symbolic of part of it, I think, is resilience. Part of it is, change.
At 74, Modler says it'll be hard to start over. She's left Birch Lake for Flin Flon for now.
I think that there's hope. This will pass, and we'll be okay.
Finding hope in the most unlikely places. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Flin Flon.
Saskatchewan World War II veteran Reg Harrison has died. Harrison grew up on a farm near Melville before joining the Royal Canadian Air Force as a bomber pilot. He survived 4 plane crashes in 1944, earning the nickname Crash. Reg Harrison was 103. We'll be right back after the break. Legendary musician Jimmy Cliff has died. Known for many hits, he helped turn reggae into a global phenomenon. Cliff was born in Jamaica in 1944 during a hurricane and later moved to the country's capital in the 1950s to pursue his musical career. At the age of 14, he became nationally famous for the song Hurricane Hattie. Cliff went on to record over 30 albums and perform all over the world for over 6 decades. He was nominated for 7 Grammys and won twice. In 2010, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Jimmy Cliff was 81. And Mickey Wolf is back with a final look at the forecast. So, Mickey, give us an update on that snow.
Well, Alexander, I wish we could say there was no snow tonight, but there's definitely some snow, especially touching down in the southwest corner of the province. Let's take a look at our night we've got ahead of us for Saskatchewan tonight. Looking at the southern part of the province, again, we're seeing definitely some snow. Maple Creek is going to have heavier amounts. We may see some snow arriving in Estevan as well as we get into the evening. Just a little bit of a cloudier one for the central region tonight. No snow anticipated. In the north, we may see some flurries tonight, but again, the south is going to be seeing most of that snow this evening. As we get into tomorrow, it's going to be a bit of a cloudier day for the north, and then we may see some scattered flurries as we get into the afternoon. And for the south and central regions, a little bit of a cloudier start, and then as we get into the afternoon hours, we will see some sun starting to peek through and that snow making its way out. So no snow, looks like mostly no snow tomorrow, Alexander. So the wish will be fulfilled.
All right, thanks, Mickey.
Thank you.
Several historic pieces of baseball history went up for auction over the weekend.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani! Wow! Up and over the roof!
That home run ball sold for $381,000 Canadian. Shohei Ohtani belted it out of the park during Game 4 of this year's National League Championship Series. And it wasn't the only Ohtani memorabilia up for auction. One of the bats he used in 2024, when he became the first player to hit 50 homers and steal 50 bases, went for a whopping $423,000. And that's how things looked across our province on this Monday. For more news, you can head over to our website. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.